guys, so welcome back to the channel. Today I have an image here I've taken just a couple of days ago. The beautiful Kemi and a fantastic racehorse who is now retired. But I want to go through the process of editing this and maybe creating a sun overlay coming from the left hand side here. So I'm in Lightroom and we refresh the image. Reset it back. I'm going to drop the highlights. I don't like editing an image if it's exposed more than normal in certain areas. You can see the grass here, all over here. I shot it at a ISO 100, 100 millimeters at f4, 1/125 second shutter speed. So the first thing to do is I'm going to bring the highlights way down. Drop my blacks down a little. I'm looking at the horse here. My whites down just a little. Increase my clarity. And a small bit of dehaze. Look for a little bit of contrast to bring it a bit. And the green around here, I'm going to take away some of that color. So while we're in saturation on the color panel, I'm going to decrease the green just a little. And I'm going to open a radial filter. I'm going to place this over Kemi and a little bit over the horse's mouth. Now I'm going to change it from custom to exposure, and I'm going to invert it so it's only affecting this area. I believe Kemi is a little bit overexposed here, and before I bring it into Photoshop, I don't want to be editing it while it's overexposed. I can bring the highlights back in Photoshop in certain areas where I want it. So I'm going to bring the highlights down, add a little bit of contrast, and bring the overall exposure down a little. Small bit of clarity, and bring down the saturation just a bit. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to right click it and edit it in Photoshop. That has brought it over to Photoshop. The very first thing I'm going to do is just duplicate the layer. Always duplicate the layer. And you can see there's a couple of marks here on the horse. I'm going to take care of them first. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the patch tool over here. And this will take care of the bigger sections of damage to the horse. So, well, and all I'm doing is just drawing around it. And moving it slowly away. This horse has won quite a bit of prize money in its time. It's belonged to a trainer, very friendly with humans. And now we've got rid of the largest parts that are damaged. I'm just going to click over to the spot removal tool, and now I'm just going to go through that quickly. Just little areas that I think needs to look smoother. Check the horse's nose. Like there's a little bit of a black mark here, we can get rid of that. Now we'll swap back over, maybe use the clone stamp tool for this area here. Grab the clone stamp tool, decrease the size of the brush. We'll click outside of it. We'll click above it. Press the left button, and now we can draw. Click there and draw over that. Made a mistake, we'll just go back. I don't want to make it look absolutely perfect. Of course the horse is going to have some little marks, but really little ones like this we can remove. They don't do anything for the image. Now I'll go back and just look. Right, I'm happy with that. Now we'll check out Kimmy. You can see just a couple of little areas here that needs to be looked after. I can grab the clone stamp tool and quickly sort that out. We'll take a patch from here. And swap over to the spot tool, decrease the size of it. And just get rid of them. And that's all we needed to do for Kim. Pretty simple, straightforward. She's beautiful anyway, so now we have that done. I'm just going to name this one Skin Correction. Going to duplicate it. Now I'm going to use Sean Archer presets. So we come in here and I'll find Sean Archer preset. Is up here. First thing I'm going to do is split toning. Today I'm also going to show you how to use Luminar. It's a fantastic piece of software. That's amazing to use, and I think you'll enjoy it. So once split toning is finished, I'm basically looking for the correct one. Turn this number 8 off, and we'll start at number 1. It was quite sunny that day, and number 1 kind of gets rid of that warm feeling. I like how this is working. It's giving the horse an even more golden tone to his coat. But if I move up to number 7, brightens up all the yellow highlights, and number 8 should crush them a little. So I take number 7. Yeah, I'm going to choose number 7. So I'm just going to select, get rid of the thumbnails layer, select split tones and skin correction, and merge them layers together. And now we have this. Now the next thing I want to do on this is create a small vignetting. Again, we're using Sean Archer portrait presets, and we bring in a small vignette, only just a tiny bit around the edges. We don't need a whole lot for this. And you can see that does a fantastic job already. It's bringing in I can remove it or add the highlights again later. I don't even need to touch this. I ran it and I simply turned on two of them, and it's done exactly what I needed it to do. Quick and easy. Merge those together. It's called vignetting. So there's no more I need to do with that. Now I'm going to bring in a sun overlay. So place embedded. Going to look for the overlay again in here. These were from Alexandro Di Kiko overlays, and we have a sun overlay in here somewhere. Feathers, fog, grunge leaves, light pack, magic lights, light pack. This is a sun overlay. We can grab this one. We can check this one out. Now we need to reverse it to the other side. Just simply hold shift and drag the sides across. Click OK. And we'll change our blend mode to screen. We'll check screen and we'll check soft light. Soft light doesn't work, so screen. It's it's not that noticeable there, but if I click Control J, let's see what a third one might do to it. Okay. Third one seems to be a bit much. I'll decrease the fill down to 50% and the opacity down to 80. And I like that. Yeah, that'll work. I'm simply going to select the top one and the vignetting layer, and I'm going to merge them together. I'm going to duplicate that last layer. So now I've got sun 1 copy, sun copy 3. Then I'm going to open up my filter, go to Sky Luminar software and click on Luminar 4. I'm going to create a matte finish with this, give it a more mystical feel to it. And then I'm going to dodge and burn back in the highlights and darken certain areas around the image. So we have landscape here. We can change this to portrait. Sometimes I find that you might find one in the landscape one that works well. We'll go to portrait. So we're here inside in Luminar and I've chosen portrait. I've clicked on the street matte filter that it gives you, and we can see if I slide the slider up and down here that it gives you this effect to it. But if I click on the creative side here on Luminar, I can go into the matte look, the mystical look, and I can make this a little bit more. I can increase the amount of the matte that I like in it and give it a kind of a warm country feel to it. That's what we're going to do. So I've increased it to 29, just looking at the horse there. And I'm going to settle on 20. Small bit of fade. And that's good. Now the mystical effect to it kind of puts a little haze on it. I'm going to increase that up to somewhere like 30. That's really nice. Now there's also another section here called Color Styles LUT. And I've been playing around with them recently and I rather do like them. In the cinematic toning, we can go down through these and find one that suits this image. and I've settled on smoky. Now we're going to bring it back, apply it, allow it to be brought back to Photoshop. That'll take about a minute and a half. And there, if we turn these on and off, you can see the difference that it's made already. And if you want, you can simply decrease the opacity of this down to wherever you're happy with. So I've decreased it down to 80%, allowing some of the effect to remain on the image. Now I'm simply going to grab all of these because I'm happy, and I'm going to merge them together. Right click and duplicate a new layer. I'm going to be working on this one, and I'm simply going to grab a curves adjustment layer, change the blend mode to multiply, Control and I to invert the layer, and now I'm going to paint in some shadows. Bring the opacity down to like 24, 20%, 25%, whichever one suits you better. And I'm going to increase the size of my brush. Change my palette color to white because we inverted the curves layer. And I'm going to start bringing down all around the horse. And when you bring down the shadows in certain parts of the image, it allows the rest of it to just give it that little bit of a pop. And since you've decreased the opacity down to 25%, you could give it a second go, just release the button and click again. I'm using a big brush to get the largest parts of this done quickly. And because your eye is naturally drawn to the brightest parts of an image, we've got two here. We've got the sun coming in from the left hand side, and we've got this bright area here in the center. Now I'm going to decrease the size of my brush, and we're going to paint some of the shadow onto the dark areas of the horse. It just defines the characteristics of the horse that little bit more. And areas here, you can do the fence. Just painting the areas where it's already shadows. And if we zoom in here and move down, we can decrease the opacity to 15%, in around 15%, and we can paint, decrease the size of the brush, and we can paint in on the shadow areas of the hair. Move up to the horse. Bring the opacity back up to 25%. And we can paint in around the eye. When you paint over the muscle and the wrinkles of the horse, it just makes it pop out. Or even in humans, it just makes it pop out that little bit more. Like a painter, you're defining the brush stroke as you go along. The nose area here. I'm just running around the darker parts of the horse. Moving over to his neck back here. Increase the size of my brush. And zoom out. Let's turn that on and off and have a look at it. And I think you can see it does a fantastic job there. So now we're just going to hold the top curves layer and the layer below it, left click, and merge these layers together. I'm going to duplicate this layer, and I'm going to run the finishing effect of the Sean Archers. There's a painterly part of this action which is pretty nice that I like. It sharpens the image a little bit. I might not like that. So we'll open the folder. And this time I'm going to leave the painterly off and leave the sharpen on. Bump contrast. We're also going to leave that off. Shadow wash. So we're only going to cut the saturation, cut the contrast. And we're happy with that. Now I'm going to select all of them, right click, merge layers together. And that's it. From starting with, I got to bring this back into Photoshop. So from starting to this image, we ended up with this. You can see there's a lot more definition in the horse. We got a nice warm summer glow growing in here. It doesn't look like it was shot at about 12 noon, which it was. It's got a nicer feel to it. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Why not subscribe to the channel and stay in tune for more. We'll talk to you then. Bye bye.